Welcome back to another session where we will be learning to draft a sleeve pattern today. First of all, let me begin by saying good morning, good afternoon, good night from whichever part of the world you are looking on. As stated before, we are going to learn to draft a basic short sleeve pattern in today's session. So off camera, I went ahead and I made my pattern block. The measurements that we'll be needing to use today would be as follows: our armhole circumference, the length of our sleeve, and the band circumference. So my armhole circumference is 26 inches. The length of the sleeve will be 10 inches. The band circumference will be 21 inches. Let's proceed. On our paper, as indicated here, I came down ½ inch from my paper. From this point here, we are going to measure the full length, which will be 26 inches of our sleeve across. Then, from the top here, we are going to come down the length of our sleeve, which will be 10 inches to me. We're going to use those two measurements and form a rectangle. After completing the rectangle, now we are going to divide this rectangle into 4 equal parts. So firstly, I divided my rectangle into half. So my half will be 13 inches. Then I'm going to divide this rectangle into another half. So my 13 inches, half of that for me will be 6.5. So I will put 6.5 marking to the top, 6.5 marking to the bottom, and I will do the same thing on this other half. So my rectangle is now divided into 4 equal parts. The next thing we are going to do is we are going to find our sleeve cap height, which will give us our bicep line. Before we proceed, we're going to label this line here as our center line. Remember when I told you divide the rectangle into half first before you divide it into quarters? So this line is going to be a center line. So you're going to label this line. So in order to find our sleeve cap height, we are going to use our full bust circumference and divide it by 12. So here my bust circumference is 54 divided by 12. We will have an answer of 4.5. That will be 4.5 inches. So on the center of the line, from the top of your sleeve, we're going to measure down that 4.5 inches. So on the outer corner of your square, on both sides, you're also going to measure down that 4.5 inches. And then you're going to rule a horizontal line straight across your paper. So now that we have found our cap height from the top of your sleeve to this 4.5 down, that is your cap height or whatever figure that you find, right? You are going to label here as your cap height, and then you know this line here is your bicep line, so you're going to label it, right? Now after that, what we are going to do is we're going to identify which is the front and the back of this sleeve pattern. So for me, this is my front here. You're going to label it, and this is my back. At the top here is what we call our sleeve head, right? So you could label that also. And where we know the bottom is our band line, and this is the sides, right? So now to the front of our pattern block, at this point here, by the first quarter, we are going to measure out diagonally ½ inch. Using the measuring tape, you're going to measure out ½ inch. And to the back part, on that quarter part, you're going to measure out 3/4 inch. So you find 3/4 of an inch on your measuring tape, and diagonally you're measuring out the 3/4 of an inch. Now let me tell you, whatever you measure out here when you are doing your basic block of your blouse, you also have to do that on the pattern by your arm, across chest, across back. You'll also have to do that in order to have a proper finish, okay? If you understand what I'm saying. When I'm doing the basic block, I will, for the blouse, I will also do that and show you, right? Now at your bicep line here, you could come down 1/2 of an inch. 1/2 of an inch on the underneath on both sides. At the center line to the top of our pattern block, we are going to measure 1/4 to 1/2 inch out. Now that is just for ease when you're putting your sleeve into your blouse. That is just for ease for it to fit in properly. So you're going to look for 1/4 or 1/2 inch. I am going to use 1/4 of an inch this morning on both sides. Now you will take your arm curve and you're going to line it up from your sleeve head to this 1/2 inch point here. Let me mark 1/2 inch. And you're going to shape from the center to the top to this point. And you're going to shape. Then you're going to turn your curve and you're lining up from this 1/2 inch point to the 1/2 inch at the under of your bicep arm. And you're going to shape your sleeve. You're going to do the same thing for the back. You're going to line up your arm curve, your French curve, armhole curve, from your sleeve head to the 3/4 inch. You line it up to get that smooth transition, and you're going to shape. You're going to turn the arm French curve again. Line it up from the 3/4 inch point to the 1/2 inch underneath the bicep line, and you're going to shape. So that is the part for the top. Now to the bottom of your sleeve, you're going to get your sleeve band circumference measure. Mine was 21. You're going to divide it into half. So 21 divided by 2 is 10.5. So again, from the center line, you're going to measure 10.5 out on both sides for your sleeve band. You could also add a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch. That is for allowance. So your sleeve wouldn't be fitting tight and you have freeness of movement with your sleeve, okay? So 10.5 from the center to the side. Same thing on the other side. 10.5 from the center to the side. Then you're going to take your ruler and you're going to connect in a straight line. Okay? Take your ruler and you're going to connect that in a straight line. And that is how you're going to draft a basic sleeve pattern. So on your fabric, after you cut out your pattern, on your fabric you're going to add 1/2 of an inch stitch allowance at the top of your pattern, and on the sides you're going to add 1 inch to 1.5 inch. At your hem, you're going to add 1 inch or 1.5 inch for your hem at the bottom of your sleeve band.